We are live. Hey guys, good morning. Greetings of the day. Thank you so much for joining this event. Today's event is we'll be exploring the GitHub workflow using this creation of repos, branch policies, collaborators, pull requests, code reviews. And let me welcome the first time speaker, Mariam Mirza. Mariam, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, greetings of the day. I'm Mariam and I'm a student in Kashmir University doing BTech in data science. So today I'll be having a session on GitHub. So let me first share my screen.
Mariam, your screen
Can
is shared. I will go on a backstage. Floor is all yours. Take over.
okay, okay, thank you. So let's start this session. Our today's session will be on exploring GitHub workflow, branch policies, collaboration, and pull requests. So the software tools you need to have for this session are Git for Windows, GitHub Desktop, Visual Studio Code, Node.js, and also you need to have a GitHub account. So again, I'm still a learner, so I apologize if I make any mistakes. So this is our agenda. What we'll be doing is we'll be starting by learning how to create a new repository. We'll see how to add collaborators. We'll set branch policies, and then we'll see how to create a new feature branch. We'll also see a little bit about algorithms. We'll create a two-pointer palindrome algorithm using JavaScript, and then we'll execute and verify it locally. We'll also see how to create pull requests, and then we'll see code review process, and lastly, we'll learn how to merge the feature branch into the main branch. So fasten your seatbelts and let's get started. This is our big picture for today. So this diagram shows the development and deployment process in 8 steps. We'll be covering step number 1, step number 2, and step number 4. The rest will be covered in the upcoming sessions. We'll start by seeing the feature branches, how to work with them, and then we'll see how to create pull requests. Also, we'll see a little bit about master branch. So we'll get started. First, we need to know what is Git. So Git is an open source and free source control management, which we also refer to as SCM. So what Git does is it manages the changes in your files over time, and you can later on see what those changes were. You can see when they were made, you can see who made them and why it was made, and also you can revert them if there's some issue with them. And also, the whole point of Git is it keeps track of the files you created, the files you updated, deleted, or things like that. And when you install Git, it comes with a terminal called as Git Bash. So we won't be going there today, and that is for some future sessions. For today, our focus will be on GitHub. So GitHub is a hosting platform. It is one of the most popular software development tools, and it is a hosting platform where you can host your repositories in the cloud. So it helps developers to store, manage, and share their code. It has different features, like you have access control, you have task management, you have bug fixing, and you can create feature branches, and you can also do collaborative work. So let's see how to get started with GitHub. We'll start by going to our GitHub account. I'm opening a new tab. Then when you open your GitHub account and log in with your account, you can see we are on the home page. On the left side, you have your top repositories, you have the recent activities, and you have your teams. If you want to see your profile, you can go to this top right corner and you can click on your profile. Here you have your popular repositories and you can see the contributions you have made. Also, you can see the repositories you have. Under repositories, you can see all of these repositories that we have. So we'll start our first step, which is learning how to create a repository. So repository is a place where you can store your code and your history of the code is, and you can see the feature branches and other things. So we'll start by learning how to create a new repository. So you go to this plus symbol, then you have these options. So we'll select new repository. We'll write repository name. So I'll write learn GitHub basics. Okay. And then we'll write a short description of what this repository is. This is a demo session on GitHub basics. Okay. So it's always better to write a description so that you know what this repository is about. And then you should also add a README file. So when you add a README file, you can write a description of what your repository contains. And when someone else visits your repository, they can see what this repository is about and what it contains. And you should also add gitignore. So what gitignore does is, if you have some files that are unnecessary in your repository, or you want to stop tracking some files, you can move them to gitignore, and they'll no longer be tracked. So you can add this according to your requirements. I'll be adding Visual Studio. Then you should always add license to your repository. I'll add MIT license. It's one of the most widely used license. So this is the basic template how you should initialize your repository. So now I'll create this repository. Okay, now you can see that we have a repository. Its name is Learn GitHub Basics. It's a public repository. We're currently in the main branch, and we have these files over here. We have a README over here, and we have the license too. We'll be seeing a little bit about what these other options are on this dashboard. So we have issues. This can help you track your work, and you can collaborate with others using this. You have pull requests. When you create a pull request, so it will show up over here, and the ones which are closed also, it will have the record over here. And then we have actions. This is a CI/CD platform, and it automates developer workflows. We have projects. So in projects, you can create task boards, and you can create roadmaps to plan your projects better. We have wiki here. So here you can host your long form documentation of what your repository contains, and how to use the code, and how it was developed, and its core principles. We have security. This can help keep your repository and code secure. We have insights, which helps you analyze your repository. And then we have settings, which has all the settings of your repository. So moving on to our second step, we'll see how to add collaborators. So when you're working in a team, to make it easier to collaborate and to merge your code and all, you can add collaborators. It was very difficult in the previous times, but after they added this feature, it becomes very easy. So I'll add a collaborator here. You can see currently that we have 0 collaborators over here. So we can invite collaborators. So I'll select add people. So you can search using the name, username, or the email. I have these over here. Just a second. So I have this Swami sir. I'll add him. Okay, you can see that the invitation has been sent. There is a pending invite, and we are awaiting the response. So we'll wait till sir will accept it.
Mariam, done, Mariam. Refresh controller.
Okay. Yeah, so now we can see that this has been accepted, and sir is a collaborator here. Now, moving on to our next step, we'll see regarding branch policies. So, what branch policies are is that they ensure that certain requirements are met before you can merge into the branch. So, what is it also helps in simplifying the review process. We'll go here in the branches, and then we'll go to add branch protection rule. You can write the name of whichever branch you want to protect. So I'll write main here, and then I'll select this, which is require a pull request before merging. So it will block the automatic merges. You need to have a pull request, and you also need you need an approval from someone else before you can merge it. You can also specify the number of approvals that are needed. Maximum is 6, and we'll select 1, and then I'll create this. So now your main branch is protected. And we also need to select another setting, which is in the general settings. Here we have automatically delete head branches. So when we select this, what this will do is when the pull request has been merged or it has been approved, it will automatically delete the head branch. Now we'll see how to create feature branches. I'll go back to code. So what a feature branch is, it's a copy of the main branch, and it has the same entries and everything, all the same files, but you can work on a feature and make your changes, and it won't affect the main branch. And in the future, when you're happy with your work, you're satisfied what you have done, then you can create a pull request and then merge it. So how this helps is that it helps keep a clean copy of the code, and so that it can be ready to be deployed at any moment. So I'll go to this branch here.
You're saying that the main branch will be kept clean always
Yeah.
without corrupting or without going through the pull request process. It is clean.
Yes. So
Thanks.
now we'll see that we currently have this main branch. We'll say view all branches, and then I'll create a new branch. So you can write the name for your feature branch. I'll show you the best practice for writing the name. So you should start by writing your name, and then you should write your task ID and the description. So you can see from the name itself what you're doing in this feature branch. I'll create this branch. Now we have our main branch and we have our feature branch. So when you go back, you can see that you have 2 branches. You're currently in the main branch. You can also shift to your feature branch, and it's saying that this branch is up to date with main. Now we'll see how to clone this repository locally. So going to this code, you can see that we have these options to clone the repository. We can clone using the web URL. We can open it using GitHub desktop, and we can also download the zip. So I'll be going with GitHub desktop. Okay, so we'll clone it, and you should always try to clone it in the C or D drive, since it has a path length limit. So we'll clone it. So GitHub desktop is a GUI, which is a graphic user interface. And so instead of using the command lines, it's very easy to use this compared to that. Here you can see that we are currently in a repository which is Learn GitHub Basics, and you can see all the other repositories which you have. We are currently in this one, and then you can see the branches also which you have, the main branch and this other branch feature branch we created. And also you can see other options, like you can create a new repository, you can add a local repository, you can clone the repository, and then you can redo all of these options. And then you can see the changes, the history, repository list, branches list. You also have these options like push, pull, fetch. So I'll briefly explain what this is. when you say when you're pushing this, what you're doing is the changes which you have made on your local files, they'll be pushed to the GitHub repository, the GitHub server. And the pull is opposite of that. When there are some changes on the GitHub server, and when you pull it, you bring those changes to your local files. Fetch is a little bit different. So when you say repository fetch, what it does is it will pull those files, but it will not add them to your local repository until you explicitly say to do so. Then we have these other options like view on GitHub, open in command prompt, show in Explorer, open in Visual Studio Code. So I'll go with, you can also see these options over here. So when I say show in Explorer, it will open it in the file explorer. You don't need to go searching for it. This is a shortcut that you can open it. And we'll open this in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so here we have a repository in the folder which is Learn GitHub Basics, and I'll show you how to add the folder structure. Your folder structure should always have a documentation folder which should have your documentation and the images, and you should have a source folder in which you have your code, and apart from that you should have this git ignore license and readme. So we'll add that documentation, and then I'll add another which is source, and then I'll add mean.js. Okay, so this is our folder structure which we need to have. Now I'll be telling you a little bit about the algorithms part. So here we'll be talking about the two-pointer algorithm technique. So what this technique does is that when you have problems involving arrays, and you have to find a set of algorithms which under a specific criteria, what you will do is, and you want to avoid looping multiple times, you can have two pointers and you can initialize them at different positions in the array depending on the problem which has been given. So, and you can initialize those pointers, and you can simultaneously go through the array, so it will help in saving the time. And there are two common patterns for this two-pointer technique. One is initializing them at the ends of the array, and you can move the pointers inwards, and the other is you'll have a that you can simultaneously go through it. So we'll be seeing how to use this two-pointer technique using and how to check a palindrome using JavaScript. So we have this code here. I'll copy it to save time. And then here we have this. So this is a productivity tool to format. You should use Shift-Alt-F and then Control-S to save it. Okay, so here we have this function which is palindrome. What it is doing is we are checking if this is a palindrome or not. So we'll take the input string and first we'll convert it to the lowercase, and then we'll have two pointers. We have the variable left, which is the left pointer towards the left end, and we have the variable right, which is the right pointer towards the right end. And we have this while loop. What it's doing here is it's moving the pointers towards the middle. And here we'll be skipping the non-alphanumeric characters. So we have created that function over here. It's checking if it's an alphabet or a number. And then what it's doing is it will be checking. It will be going through the array, and it will be going through each of the character in the string. And it is checking if the left character is the same as the right character. If it is not the same, then it will return false. If it is the same, then it will return true. And then we have these two palindromes over here. Now that we have added these folders and this folder structure over here, we have added some files. Let's see what's going on back in GitHub desktop. So here you can see that it's showing that one file has been changed. There's this file that has been changed. It's showing all of the changes which have been made. So you can see this all has been changed. You can now commit this. If you want to add this, you will commit it. So I'll add a commit message, which is first commit. Okay. So I'll write a commit message and then I'll commit it to this feature branch. So it has been committed. You can see, you can go to the history and you can see that this has been committed over here and all of this has been changed. Now going back, we can see that it says you can push origin here or here. You have these two buttons from where you can do it. And for now, we have the changes made on our local file. So it's on our local machine. When we push origin, it will go to the GitHub repository. So I'll push origin. Okay, so now we have pushed the origin, and now it's saying that we can make a pull request. It sees that some changes has been made, and now we can make the pull request. So it's saying preview pull request. It shows whatever changes has been made, and then I'll create the pull request. Okay, so now we have a title over here. I'll show you the code review process, how to add a reviewer to your code so that they can check it. So here you can go to reviewers, and then I'll add Swami sir here. Okay, so we'll wait till, no wait, I'll first have to create the pull request. Okay, now you can see that we are in the pull request section. It shows that we have created this pull request and its title is first commit. Now we'll wait for Swami sir to review it.
Yeah, Mariam on that, and assume that I found a issue in your code. I'm going and I'm saying that I'm asking that do we need this function? So just commented on your this thing. You can address that and close the comment, assuming that there is a code change. It's just fictitiously we are replicating a real-time scenario. Scroll to the bottom. You should see, scroll all the way to the bottom. You should see my comment, or just do a refresh. Control R.
Okay, it's taking some time to show up.
I think I did not. Now it should show.
Yeah,
Just now I submitted it. It was with me.
Okay. So he's saying, do we need this function? I'll reply. Okay, I'll comment back.
And then, okay. Now let me see. This you commented that, and now I'm going to the main pull request. Let me upload that. Just give me a minute. The comment is there. I think you have to resolve the conversation. There's a button at the bottom.
Okay, yeah, I'll do.
Resolve it.
Hmm.
Okay. If you resolve, let me refresh that.
Since we added those branch protection rules, it's showing that a review is required and the merging is blocked. So that's why you need to add those branch protection rules.
Right. And now I assign this to myself. And I will go there. Just a moment. Let me go in here and start the review. What seems to think? Don't I have the read permission? You have requested it. This is review. Okay, add my review. I'm adding the review over here, and I reviewed the changes, and I'm approving the changes. I submit the review. Now you can do a squash merge. Back to you, Mario.
Yeah, so here we can see that it has been reviewed and that this branch has no conflicts with the base branch. So we'll do a squash merge. So what squash merge does, it combines all of the commits, and otherwise you don't want to have like 5 commits or something like that. It'll just combine all of the commits and make it into one commit. So we'll do squash and merge. Then I'll confirm it. Okay, so now you can see that since we also added those that automatically delete head branches, so it has automatically deleted our feature branch. Now you can see in pull requests, it's showing that one has been closed. So this one we have closed it. Okay, so let's see what all we have done for now. So we started by seeing how to create a new repository. And then we saw how to initialize it using the README and the gitignore, also the MIT license. We saw how to add collaborators to the repository. And then we saw how to set the branch policies and why they're important. And then we saw how to add these approvals. And then we created a feature branch. And we saw the best naming practice, which is you should write your name, the task ID, and the description. And then how to clone it using GitHub desktop. And we also saw how to open this GitHub desktop using Visual Studio Code, and we saw the folder structure over here. We also saw this this palindrome algorithm, and then we saw how to create a pull request and how to make it preview it and then make it with GitHub desktop. And then we saw the code review process, how to add someone to review your code. And finally, we saw how to merge the feature branch into the main branch. So here we can see the review was required and the merging was blocked. So I think we covered all of that. I'll just quickly show you some these productivity tools. So, okay. So here I have a list of these productivity tips, and these are just some shortcuts which will help you save the time. So I showed you Shift Alt F, which is formatting, and Control S for save. You can do Control R for refresh. We also have Control T for new tab, and I'll show you how to comment a line. Sorry. So here's, if you want to comment this, what we can do is we'll select this. We'll select this and we'll do a control and a slash. So it will comment all of this. And then if I want to uncomment it, I can again do the same and it will uncomment all of this. We have others here, which is control right arrow or control left arrow. And we have control shift right arrow to select the word. And then if you want to move the line up or down, you can use alternate and up arrow or down arrow. So I'll show that here. If you want to move this, I'll select alternate and I'll move it up. So this just saves a lot of time. Otherwise you need to copy paste it again and again. So this way you can move it. And then you have the, if you want to go to the end of the line or the start of the line, you can use end or home key. Yeah, so this was some of the productivity tools. And I think that's all for our session today. So if you have any questions or queries, you can post them and we'll get back to you. So thank you for attending today's session.
That was pretty nice, Mariam. Even though you were the first-time speaker, we covered a pretty good content. So, guys, next week we are trying to do something a beginner's journey. I don't want to call beginner to hero, zero to hero, or double action hero. Just like we are starting a series, which is a pretty much beginner friendly thing, trying to be steady cadence on every week. We want to present something which will help the beginner to get started. So this series was a long series, and year and above the series will be. That's the plan, and we'll see how God will bless us on this series. So next week we'll be coming up with HTML. How do you see? How do you create a starter and a simple web page with header, footer, and an image, something like a coffee shop home page. So that will be presented. So something like that every week, all the beginner friendly, without using any frameworks, which we will build everything on our own. So there is a big series, and I really appreciate everyone to waking up this morning and joining the series. And thank you so much, Mariam, for your excellent presentation. And thank you all the audience. Let's see next week. Bye.